I just wanted to do a quick reality quote from the panel, the Healthy Kids panel. It said, the parents told the panel that the single biggest factor influencing their food choices is lack of time. So when you think about that and think about what we've just heard today, we've got some education to do about choosing our family meals, what kinds of things go into lunch. We're going to move on with Margaret Good. Ms. Good is a Healthy Schools and Community Consultant at OFIA. OFIA works in partnership with school boards and public health, government, non-government agencies, and private sector to develop groundbreaking programs and services that support healthy, active schools and healthy, active communities. Ms. Good shares her experience and passion with Ontario schools and community partners as they work towards encouraging and supporting healthy, active living for children and youth. She's a teacher, and she is a health and phys ed specialist and has been involved with the development of implementation of numerous OFIA resources and initiatives. She is a community facilitator for OFIA's Active Living Community Action Project and is a consultant with the Physical Activity Resource Centre. I've had the pleasure of working with Margaret over the years when my school way back was considered to be a living school initiative. And she walks the talk. So I'm very pleased to introduce Ms. Margaret Good.
Hello everyone, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I must say how proud OFIA is to be a partner in this wonderful initiative. And I've been able to come to Windsor several times over the past few years, and I'm just always so impressed how your community pulls together and creates such amazing initiatives. And this In Sport We Are One is one of the most amazing I've ever seen, and I'm sure it is going to have a lasting impact not only here in Windsor and Essex, but way beyond. They're talking about it throughout the province already. So, I am from OFIA, as Sharon said. I've been there for, I think it's 19 years now, and that's because I believe in their vision, which is that all children and youth will value, participate, and make a lifelong commitment to healthy, active living. OFIA is a provincial not-for-profit organization, and we are dedicated to supporting Ontario schools and communities. We've learned a lot about creating healthy schools and communities, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some information about the importance of physical activity. So before I get talking myself, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to talk to someone either sitting beside you, or you might have to move over to another table just for a moment. And I would like you to just very briefly discuss one physical activity that you liked as a child and who or what influenced your attitudes towards physical activity. I'll just give you 1 minute for that. So just lean towards someone else sitting close to you and share one favorite physical activity as a child and who influenced your attitudes towards physical activity. So who is responsible for ensuring that our kids are physically active? When you spoke about who influenced your attitudes, you may have said parents or friends or aunts or uncles or neighbors or schools or churches, places of worship, recreation facilities. We all share the responsibility for the health and well-being of our kids, and in particular their physical activity levels. So I'm going to do a bit of an active quiz with you. And I'm going to ask you a question. The first one's up on the screen right now. If you agree with the answer and with the statement and think that it's true, I'd like you to stand up and march quickly on the spot. Just get those feet moving. If you agree with the fact or with the statement that children and youth aged 5 to 17 years old should get at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity daily. If you think that's true, stand up and walk. Move your feet on the spot. Let's see those feet moving. Yes, it is true. Have a seat. Next slide. It is true that the Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines, which were released in late 2011, they describe the amount and types of physical activity that offer substantial health benefits for Canadians. And there are guidelines for people of all ages. I'm going to be focusing on children and youth today between 5 and 17. And for health benefits, children and youth need to accumulate, that means add up during the day, at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity, even if it's broken into smaller amounts of 5 to 10 minutes. Those physical activities should include some vigorous intensity activities for at least 3 days a week, and some activities that strengthen bones and muscles for at least 3 days a week. And more physical activity than 60 minutes a day is even better. So moderate physical activity, what you just did could probably be described as moderate. It will cause children to get a little bit warmer, breathe a little more. So you can imagine if you were walking briskly for a while, that would happen. As a general rule of thumb, you can talk but not sing if you're doing moderate activities. So we need some moderate activities to vigorous. Examples would be walking quickly, bike riding, skating, skateboarding, playground activities. And vigorous activities will cause children to sweat a little and be out of breath. You may not see the sweat, but they're feeling warm and they're a little out of breath if they're doing vigorous activities, and that's a good thing. Some examples of that would be running, rollerblading, basketball, soccer, things that kids like to do, cross-country skiing. Strengthening activities are ones that build the muscles. So for kids, that could be climbing, swinging on playground equipment. Examples of muscle strengthening activities for youth could include push-ups, sit-ups, lifting weights, climbing stairs even, where you're using your body weight, or riding a bike. Bone strengthening activities muscles push and pull against bones to make them stronger. So some examples here would be running, walking, yoga, jumping rope. And the idea is to combine both aerobic, so moderate to vigorous intense activities, and some strengthening activities. The guidelines for ages 7 to 12 look the same as what you just saw as well. Just different activities suggested. Okay, and the next one is on the benefits of physical activity. You heard about how it can help to prevent diabetes. There's a lot of other things it can do as well as type 2 diabetes, some other chronic diseases such as cancer and heart disease later in life if children are active. Can help to prevent that. Physical activity offers a wide range of benefits, and you'll see them up here. And those establishing positive habits early in childhood and adolescence can last a lifetime. Being active for at least 60 minutes daily can help kids improve their health, do better in school, and this is really important because we often focus so much on the academics that there isn't a perceived amount of time that kids have to be active. But we know that it does have an impact on their learning, can increase concentration, can improve academic scores, improves their fitness, strengthens their hearts, builds strong bones, helps to promote good posture and balance. It also allows kids to have fun playing with their friends. It allows them to feel happier, lowers their stress, increases relaxation, improved self-esteem, helps them to maintain a healthy body weight, improves their self-confidence as they learn new skills. And safety matters, of course, when kids are trying new activities and becoming more active. Encourage them to be careful, of course, to wear the appropriate protective equipment, for example, a helmet when cycling. And for vigorous activities, get them to concentrate on learning the skills first and then gradually increase the intensity. The next slide. This slide shows the first ever Canadian Canadian sedentary behavior guidelines. There didn't seem to be a need for that in the past, but in 2001, the sedentary guidelines were released. And these guidelines describe the recommended amount of time that Canadians should reduce their involvement in sedentary pursuits in order to achieve health benefits. So for health benefits, kids should minimize the amount of time that they spend being sedentary each day. And that could be achieved by limiting recreational screen time to no more than 2 hours a day. Lower levels are even better. And limiting sedentary transportation, and also extended sitting and time spent indoors each day. So sedentary behavior is just very little movement, probably what you're doing right now, unless you're moving around as you're sitting and getting those feet going, which is just fine with me. Feel free to stand at any moment. We are going to have a little fit break in a while, by the way, with some students leading us, so I'm really looking forward to that. The next slide shows a tool that is very useful if you're a parent or a family member who would like to encourage kids to be more active, and also for teachers, community members as well. If you go to the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology or to Health Canada's website, you can find all kinds of tools and resources to support the physical activity guidelines and to encourage kids to be more active and to provide some tips and tools so that adults can help kids get more active. What you're going to see here is the Active Healthy Kids Canada report card, and it's in its 8th year of production. There's going to be a new one coming out in 3 weeks, as a matter of fact, so stay tuned for that. It's an evidence-informed communications and advocacy piece designed to provide some insight into Canada's state of the nation each year and how we as a country are doing in providing physical activity opportunities for children and youth. The report card frames around the physical activity level grades. So they assign grade levels for various types of physical activity. It assesses influences and indicators and can have an impact on physical activity. So for our next quiz question, and again, if you think it's true, I want you to stand and move your feet. Okay, recent studies found that only 50% of school-aged children and youth are meeting the physical activity guidelines of 60 minutes a day. Only 50%. If you agree with that, stand and move your feet. Ooh, good. You're right. It's actually false. It's worse than that. For the 6th year in a row, the 2012 Active Healthy Kids Canada report card assigned an F to Canadians for physical activity levels, as only 7%, or 1 in 5 kids, are actually meeting the physical activity guidelines of 60 minutes a day. And that's a minimum, 60 minutes a day to get those good health benefits. While achieving these guidelines is essential for health benefits, so it is encouraging to note that most Canadian children are getting some physical activity, and 44% of them are getting 60 minutes a day on 3 days a week. So what we need to do is encourage kids to move more and a little more intensely and more often. And by the way, girls are still trailing the boys in physical activity levels, so we also need to provide some extra support to girls. I was just speaking with Rosalie, one of the public health nurses here in Windsor, Essex, and she was telling me about a new program that they're offering to girls in high school, and it is all about getting girls more active, and girls who are not typically active, not usually engaged in athletics and so on. And it's through a partnership with the University of Windsor, who help to support that program to get girls more active. So it's, I think, a really great initiative. And your public health unit, by the way, is a wonderful partner for you. So they've got all kinds of resources and expertise and knowledge. So I really encourage you to find out what's available to help you to get kids more active. Okay, next quiz question. 46% of Canadian children are getting a mere 3 hours or less of active play each week, and that's including weekend days. Is that true or false? If it's true, stand and move your feet. If it's false, move your feet sitting down. True or false? 46% of Canadian children are getting a mere 3 hours or less of physically active play. It is true. I'm sad to say it's true. Have a seat again. 46% are getting a mere 3 hours or less of active play. You probably noticed that the parks and playgrounds and neighborhood streets aren't quite as active as they were when we were kids. Active play is fun, but it is not frivolous. Aside from providing that opportunity for regular physical activity of a child's own design, active play, is shown to improve their motor function, creativity, decision-making, problem-solving, social skills such as sharing, taking turns, helping others, and resolving conflict. So play comes in many forms, but it's generally freely chosen, spontaneous, self-directed, and fun. We need to encourage kids to play more often. Active play can really help kids to meet that physical activity guideline of at least 60 minutes a day. So stay tuned for the next report card that will be coming out on May 21st. I'm not sure what the topic is. They keep it under wraps until they release it, but it's bound to have some interesting information that you can use to build the case that we need more physical activity for kids. So what can we do to get our kids more active? You've heard from Dr. Ann Snowden about the important influence that kids have on each other, and that's one of the most wonderful things that I think is happening with this In Sport We Are One legacy project, is that it's student-led. We're getting students to be the leaders to encourage other students, other kids to be more active, and that's really a wonderful way to do it. They are leading by example. We know that it's important for kids, but adults are often busy or feel that they're almost too busy to get active. I don't have the stats on how many adults are meeting the guidelines, but I know it's actually even worse than it is with kids. So we all need to move more often. When you're taking care of yourself and demonstrating healthy habits, such as being active, even in small amounts, your kids are more likely to do the same. So it is important that we are all role models, whether you're a teacher, a community leader, whatever your role is, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, share your passion for whatever physical activity it is that you enjoy. Get active together as a family. Walk or bike to the park is a great way to get reconnected. And you've also heard about the importance of connections. It gives kids a sense of belonging and helps them make choices that can support their physical and mental health. So you could ask kids to help with the yard work, raking and shoveling snow or gardening. Go for a walk after supper, but try to be active with kids. Focus on a variety of fun activities and give kids the reins for the choice of physical activity. Ask them what they like and then try to make that happen for them. They could go meet up with friends to play ball hockey or go to the playground after school. So many options. They could go puddle jumping in the rain, riding bike or playing hopscotch or playing catch. Just move the body, enjoy it. And again, active play is a great way to do that. Talk about the importance of physical activity with your kids. Even if you're not as active as you would like to be, communicate with them about the importance and the effects on their health and how they can start to increase their physical activity. Encourage and reward and recognize even the small step. Every step counts. So if the children that you interact with aren't very active, and you can get them to go to the park or go for a walk with you around the block after dinner or whatever it is that you can do to encourage them to walk, reward that and say, that's a great job, way to go, let's do more of that. And one of the things that the physical activity guide resources includes is a tracking tool where you can, nowhere near as wonderful as the one we have here, but just something you can put on your fridge and tick off 10 minutes here and ask your kids, were you active today at recess? What did you do in physical education? And then track those amounts of physical activity and encourage them to add up at least 60 minutes a day. And encourage active transportation. So when your child asks for a ride, suggest they walk or bike or run instead. And if possible, encourage them to walk or skate or bike to and from school. And again, your public health unit has some great supports around active and safe routes to schools and how to make that safe. Make the most of the recreation activities and programs that are available in your community. And I know your community has a lot of great opportunities to be active. So encourage that. Also be smart about screen time. Limit the amount of time spent on, increase the amount of time spent on physical activity and reduce the amount of time that is non-active. Even though kids do love computers and computer games and television, and they can be educational and contribute to mental development in some ways, kids need to be healthy, need to be active for healthy growth and development. We're going to watch a little video now, a little screen time of our own. And this is a video that Ophia developed. It's called Hands Up for Health and Physical Literacy. We're used to hearing about the importance of numeracy and literacy for kids. But what we need for kids to be more active is to help them to learn health and physical literacy. So let's just take a look at, this is the beginning, part one of a 3-part series, and we do have these videos available for you at the back of the room, and they're also available on YouTube. So it's something that you can share with your own children, whether it's in school or at home or in the community. Again, 3 parts, they progressively, the kids progressively get older in these videos. And so throughout the videos, kids are introduced to the concepts of physical and health literacy.
Here we have 2 kids, a boy named Sanjay and a girl named April. Sanjay and April are kids just like you, although they are cartoons. I guess they're not exactly just like you now, are they? Maybe I'll give them jetpacks. Why not? You know what? Maybe jetpacks are a bad idea. My bad. Now, we really want Sanjay and April to be happy kids. For that to happen, we want them to have fun being active and to learn to make healthy choices. But to do this, there are skills they have to learn first. Yeah, skills! Watch this. Sanjay, let's have you run a race. We'll draw a track here and give you a really tough opponent to run against. How about a cheetah? They're pretty fast. And let's put April on a baseball diamond. She can be playing against someone tough too. How about a team of elephants who use their trunks to hit the ball? Now, in order for Sanjay and April to get better at their activities, they have to learn some basic skills first. Think about it. If Sanjay hasn't learned how to run properly, he won't be able to run a race very well. And April won't really be ready to play baseball until she learns to catch. To be active and to have fun playing lots of games and sports, there are a lot of basic skills you should learn. Things like how to dodge, skip, jump, kick, overhand throw, catch, and run. If you learn skills like these, you'll end up using them in sports and physical activities, and you'll be confident playing them. This is called being physically literate. If you become physically literate and learn these basic skills, then you'll be able to try more activities, and activities are fun. If you can run, you can take part in soccer, basketball, or hiking. If you can throw, you can play baseball, cricket, or wheelchair bocce. If you can balance, you can do yoga, gymnastics, or even shark riding. Okay, you got me, I made shark riding up. But imagine? Now, not only do we want Sanjay and April to be active, we also want them to learn to make healthy choices. There are skills you have to learn for that too. But instead of running and catching, these are thinking and doing skills. Things like saying kind words, listening to each other, and knowing what you're feeling. Learning these help you make healthy decisions, like eating well, wearing your bike helmet, and making smart life choices. This is called health literacy. If you learn the skills of health literacy, you might choose to do fun activities like read a book, go outside and be active, or draw instead of only playing video games. And you may choose to eat more fruits and vegetables instead of mostly candy. I know, Mr. Cheetah, but being healthy is just as important for cheetahs as it is for kids. So if Sanjay and April can learn health literacy and physical literacy, they'll really be on the right track. Then Sanjay and April will feel good about participating in those activities. And they'll want to try more activities because they know they have the skills to be good at it. They'll also have the skills to make choices for their health and well-being. And in the end, they'll be active, happier, and healthier. Even if you take away their jetpacks. Sorry, guys.
Physical literacy provides that solid foundation for kids to develop the skills and knowledge and attitudes that they need to enable them to engage with confidence in a wide variety of activities. I'm going to move now to talk about making schools a healthy school. As you heard, I'm a Healthy Schools and Communities consultant with OFIA, and I've had the pleasure of working with schools and communities throughout the province. And I've learned a lot about this, and I know one thing is that this approach really does work. Schools can play a very important role in promoting the health and well-being of kids. With 95% of Ontario's children and youth attending public schools, experts agree that schools are the ideal place to promote mental health. Next to parents, schools have the most influence on kids, and the influence of their peers, of course, is extremely important. Kids are in school almost half of their waking weekday hours, an average of 5 days a week, 6 hours a day for 12 to 14 years. So we've got a captive audience in school. We really need to make the most of that time to ensure that kids get healthy. And making your school a healthy one can improve both health and educational outcomes and encourage healthy behaviors that last a lifetime. This is an approach that is recognized worldwide, and acknowledges that health and education are inextricably linked, and that healthy, active students actually learn more effectively. When they see the concepts that they're learning in class, in health and physical education and other subject areas, reinforced and reflected in the community, in healthy and at home, then their learning is validated and reinforced. So, what is a healthy school? What you see here is what's called the Foundations for a Healthy School framework from the Ministry of Education. There's going to be a new version of this, a revised version, coming out in September, so it's again another opportunity to promote physical activity with kids. It's essentially A healthy school is one that contributes not only to academic achievement, but to well-being of all children, and establishes a healthy, safe, and inclusive and accepting learning environment where all students can reach their full potential and thrive. Healthy schools build a shared vision and a consistent approach and commitment to student health and well-being. It also engages students and school staff and parents and the broader community in identifying and planning and leading healthy school initiatives. This approach is sometimes referred to as comprehensive school health, and it has been embraced internationally. They call it different things in different communities, either health promoting schools. In Germany, they actually call it good, healthy schools. Different names, we called it living school at first when I first met Sharon Pike over at Concord Public School, but it's really taking a healthy school approach. And what that means is that you can address a variety of health topics, whether it be mental health, physical activity, healthy eating, substance use, healthy growth and development, substance use, and others, using this framework. So let's look at physical activity within the context of a healthy school. Okay? So essentially there are 4 components of a healthy school. High-quality instruction and programs, which is really all about learning and teaching, lays the foundation for activities done outside of instructional time. It's about teaching and learning for staff and students, so it includes professional development, professional learning for teachers as well. So that quality instruction provides students with the skills and understanding that they need to make healthy choices now and in the future. Health and physical education is a very important part of that. And implementation of the curriculum is a very significant component of a healthy school environment. OFIA is advocating for the release of the revised health and physical education curriculum for elementary and secondary schools, and we're very hopeful that it will be released soon, because right now the secondary schools are working from a very old curriculum, and elementary schools have one that is not quite complete. So we're hoping that will be out soon. Daily physical activity, DPA as they call it in schools, is also an important component of this, and it's mandated that schools provide 20 minutes of daily physical activity during the instructional day when kids don't have active physical education. And I know that all the boards in Windsor, Essex have resources, OFIA's DPA kits or activity cards and yoga cards that can support daily physical activity. Not always easy to do it, to fit it into the day, but we have to realize how important that is for kids. A healthy physical environment provides the conditions for learning, and it includes the school buildings and grounds and routes to and from school, materials and equipment that's used. It could be as simple as putting posters up around the school promoting physical activity and healthy eating. Have an area where you have pictures of kids being active, where they draw, they have their artwork that demonstrates them being active. Or it might be turning an unused schoolroom space in the school into a fitness center. The supportive social environment is all about the relationships and creating a positive school climate where kids and adults feel safe and supported. Some examples of that might be peer interaction, student leadership programs, so certainly what we're doing with the International Children's Game fits into that. Intramurals, active family fun nights, for example, would fit with that. Community partnerships link the students and staff and parents with a wide range of partners. And I know you have a lot of partners, as you can see just from around this room, who are willing and to support healthy growth and development of our children. The Healthy Schools website on the Ministry of Education website actually has a lot of great ideas if you're looking for ideas on this. This picture shows some good examples of creating a healthy school. The top left picture is a school in Kingston, J.R. Henderson School, where the school worked with their community to transform their schoolyard and create an active play area for kids of different ages. To promote student ownership over the yard renovation, each child was asked to, or each class was asked to submit their vision for the new yard, and then that space was designed based on the vision from both students and staff, and with the help of a local parent, a partner, who was also an architect. And the new schoolyard featured trees, gardens, a stone amphitheater with a gazebo. The final design included a fitness trail with exercise stations, a mini putt, new basketball and volleyball courts. It was a huge community effort that included some fundraising. The top right picture is an example of high-quality instruction and programs. At Regency Acres in York Region, they found a very creative way to implement DPA, or daily physical activity. Just in the span of 1 year, one teacher, who happened to be a special education teacher, not a phys ed teacher, spearheaded a movement to get every class from kindergarten to grade 8 moving every day. She happened to be a runner herself and happened to read a book by Dr. John Rady, a psychiatrist from Harvard, who wrote a book called Spark, and it's all about exercise and the brain and the links between exercise and the brain. Rady actually argues that aerobic activity, or activity that gets a heart rate, is like miracle grow for the brain. And what they found is they started with just one class doing a run every day that actually evolved into a 2.5 kilometer run around the neighborhood every day. And they actually measured this classroom against others, this other grade 6 classes, and found that the kids who were getting the daily exercise at the beginning of the day improved their academic scores, their test scores, their behavior improved, there was less absenteeism, a lot of really interesting results. And because of that, the whole school scheduled 20 minutes of daily physical activity. That's daily, every day. So when they weren't getting gym, they had DPA, whether it was in the gym or outside walking around the school, but everybody was active, and the school has noticed a huge difference. The bottom left picture is in Thunder Bay, where a lot of partners are involved as well. You'll see the police chief there and the fire chief, and they're serving pancakes on Shrove Tuesday. But the fire chief also ensures that the fire department, the firefighters, offer the Firefighters Challenge. And they come to the schools with the fire truck and with some equipment, and they set up a challenge with the kids and the firefighters. And it's a way of getting kids active and just encouraging them to be active. The bottom right picture is just an example of an older student helping a young child to skate, which is an example of creating a supportive social environment. So kids can really have a powerful influence on other children, as we've said many times today. Okay, the next one, I'd like you to just think for a moment before you leave here today. Think about write on a piece of paper or share with someone at your table just one idea that you've had today through what you've seen around the room or what you've heard, or a feeling that you've experienced, or one step that you will take to encourage kids to be more active. It's so important. In my last slide, I'm just showing a few places where you can go for more information. Active Healthy Kids Canada, watch for that report card next week. Canada's Physical Activity Guidelines. People for Education provides all kinds of support for parents, and there's a webinar online about creating healthy schools and parents' role in doing that. Participaction has great tips and tools. Ministry of Education, Healthy Schools website, and again, watch for the Foundations for Healthy School coming out in the fall. And ophia.net. And again, I would like to congratulate Windsor Essex on the wonderful job that you're doing to have students be the leaders in the health of the community, and the impact that they have, I know, will be a lasting legacy. So congratulations, and thank you very much for inviting me tonight.